anyway. Welcome to the Ruckus, everybody. I am your host, Joe Clair. Who is that right there?
Hey, your girl Lez in the building. Can I tell you that beat to our open knocks? I just want to dance and battle and backflip on somebody real quick.
Well, I sit here and I make this music. I never know where it's gonna go. Luckily, it ended up becoming our theme song for our show. So I'm super excited every time I hear that joint.
You know how we do. We're here to entertain you, man.
Before we get to our first guest, I need to talk to you. You are in the middle of the heat and the motherfucking fires and the drought and everything else that's going on in Southern California. You all right? You good?
Listen, Hollywood, between the mudslides, the earthquakes and fires. Yeah, I am good. I mean, I'd rather this heat and the sun shining. It's beautiful. And our ocean just recently got contaminated with a whole bunch of debris, so you can't really even swim like in Santa Monica and Malibu. So it's a lot going on.
Wow.
Mother Nature must be, quite pissed at somebody. But listen, I'm alive, I'm healthy, and I'm COVID-free. So thank you, Jesus.
Oh, okay, I ain't know all of that. I'm gonna keep my black ass right where I'm at. So now it's about time to introduce our first guest. Les, you want to do it or may I?
Let's split the task at hand.
Okay.
So I'll just start off by saying this. The person that is coming to bless us, when you hear names like Dr. Dre, Yella, MC Ren, Eazy-E, the LA Dream Team, Compton's Most Wanted, DJ Battle Cat, you better think of this man who is like a culture creator, so to speak, right?
Right, he is the godfather of West Coast hip hop. I am looking to get a bit of a history lesson because I'm heavy East Coast, and it's always great to learn about how these things came about. Plus, he's still making moves out here in these streets, doing big things. So right about now, representing the world-class wrecking crew, please put your hands together for Lonzo Williams.
What's up, folks? What's up?
How you doing, brother?
Hanging like a chandelier, just trying to shine, baby.
You glimmering, you shining, you moving.
I'm using that one around the house. I'm about to use that when I go back upstairs. I'm hanging like a chandelier, and I'm trying to shine. Bring your ass in this room.
Okay,
right.
Joe, I gotta tell you, for the first time, because we never got a chance to interview him doing Rap City, right?
We did not.
Which is crazy and insane because Rap City and a lot of the West Coast videos would not exist without this man.
Exactly.
But I happened to meet him at the Universal Hip Hop Music Museum, kind of award ceremony, informal. But tell them about the award that you just received that has been long overdue, Lonzo.
I received an award. Wrecking Crew received an award from the Universal Hip Hop Museum for our contribution here on the West Coast. Me and Clientele, we're both members of the Universal Hip Hop Museum, and my man Rocky blessed us with I think it was a lifetime achievement type situation. Me, Curtis Blow, and Clientele. So it was a great opportunity. It was a great situation for me. I always like being appreciated. That's one of the few things of being a godfather that I still can get at this stage of the game. Don't get no platinum records, but I still get some love.
But love counts. I take the love. Love counts. So Lonzo, I don't know if you know, I'm a student of all things black music, all things black culture, and I'm a East Coast guy. But before we started the show, we were talking about how sort of DJing and the scene was prior to what we gonna call the hip hop era, when the World Class Wrecking Crew was making music, when you guys were starting the LA Dream Team and those kinds of things. What was going on? Like what was the move to make you guys move into hip hop? Well, like what's right in between? What's in between disco and hip hop for you, or is there in between?
Well, you know what? For me, I started in disco as a DJ myself. That was my first love was DJing, and my first name was Disco Lonzo. So I'm rocking BGs and Donald Summers and clubs. I'm 22. I'm I'm 20 years old doing this now. I'm rocking in the park, just like Cool Herc was. I'm rocking in the park. I'm doing local sets or whatever the case may be. And disco got so popular here on the West Coast. My friends started doing these disco dances. That's what we call them, disco dances, for people under 21. And because I went to broadcast school, I had a little edge on some of the other DJs. It wasn't a whole lot of DJs, first of all. In fact, the only other DJ I was competing with was one of my classmates from the broadcast school. And we started doing these dances. And where I lived at the time, everybody was selling weed by the ton. And my mom had just passed. I lived in my mom's house. My dad came by the house. He technically his house. Saw me with a pile of money. Thought I was selling weed. And he had to step off in my ass. I'm like, hold on, man, time out. Come by and see what I'm doing. At Alpine Villa, just spot over in not far from the house. He did. His partner had just completed a second story on this nightclub, a banquet hall, and he introduced us. I knew the man from the neighborhood, but I didn't know him as from a business aspect. And at 22 years old, I was able to get the Eve After Dark up and cracking, and it was all because of my previous work as a disco DJ per se.
So was y'all scratching? Did you take everything that you saw from the East Coast? How was that?
We didn't start scratching until about 82, 83, when I brought Curtis Blow to Eve After Dark to perform. Davey DMX took my boy at the time, my main guy, Yella, into the studio and showed him how to work them 1200s. We didn't have 1200s at first. We were doing some belt drive turntables. We had belt drive turntables. I mean, all we did some mixing, some slam mixing, some overrides, whatever the case may be. We had rubber pads on the turntable still. When the arm moved, the record started, that kind of shit. And it wasn't until I booked Curtis Blow to perform a party at the club called Christmas Rapping. That Davey DMX was kind enough to take his turntable, put it in my DJ booth, and show Yella how to scratch. And that's how everything started for us as far as scratching. And we was doing other things, but we wasn't scratching yet.
Gotcha.
How does your skill as a DJ transform into your long repertoire of being a producer, right? Because not everybody who's a producer has DJ skills. And so even though your library of music is long and strong probably than most producers, let's talk about the skill that took you from the club into the studio.
Well, being that we had a teen club at the time, we were very, very aware of two things. People like to dance fast, and also they like to slow dance. So when Record Crew started making their records, we made what we call dance and romance records. People know us for Turn Off the Lights, our big hit, but our hit before that was a song called Lovers. I Don't Want to Be Lovers. It was sang by a lady by the name of Mona Lisa, and that record got us more airplay and more gigs than Surgery and Juice, our dance record. So when right before we broke up, I wanted to make another record for the radio, and that's when I came up to Turn Off the Lights. Mona wasn't available, and I would grab Miss Chalet, and there go another limb to my history tree.
So I need to go ahead and thank you for the Before You Turn Off the Lights records. I was a young man at Morgan State University, and that song came out. I was a very popular man on the yard. And the record came right on time. Because
I was telling a story about that record yesterday. At the time when I wrote that record, a lady had told me that, like, that Sunday or something, like, she kind of gave me the clues. Look here, bruh. She said, look here, bruh. If you gonna hit this, you better do it right. If you don't, get up out of here, okay? And I was actually out delivering records, man, at the Compton swap meet, and everything just came to me at one time. And I sat in the parking lot. I took the white sleeve out of a record and wrote the whole song in the swap meet, in the parking lot of the swap meet, on one of those record sleeves. Took it to Dre, who had a beat. He was messing with it in the studio, and nobody wanted to do the song. So I had to write Dre's part, Yella's part, Shakespeare's part, and my part, along with the hook. Bribe them to come in the studio, and we cut the song, and we broke up. And here's the crazy part: most people don't know this. The original people who recorded that song have never performed it on stage ever. Never.
Wow.
Never, ever, ever have the original people, Michelet, Dr. Dre, Lonzo, and Shakespeare, ever performed Turn Off the Lights as a collective.
They left, right? Right. Come on, Michelet, you need that.
So they left, went to NWA, and we cut that record in like October, November of '86. January '87, it was hot as fish grease. And they was all NWA grabbing their balls, talking shit. And next thing I know, because we had the same manager, which was Jerry Heller, I'm on tour with the same guys who made a hit song that I'm performing. And I got Battle Cat and another buddy of mine, Richie Rich, performing Yella and Dre's part. And Mona Lisa was singing Michelet's part.
So you mean to tell me, so you make the hit record, you go on tour, but the people that you made the record with was in another group. So they
was my opening act.
Wow.
They were my opening act. Talking about some awkward shit.
Yeah.
Talking about some awkward shit. It's like we on the same plane, same hotel, same stage. Me and my boys are not talking. And they gotta watch me get paid opening act. And at this time, they the opening act, and ain't nobody really feeling NWA. Okay, my only problem was I was on a tour with Ice-T, NWA, and Just Ice, and Wrecking Crew was the headliner. You got all these gangster acts, all these street acts, and you got this one guy headlining the show with a love song. Did not make any sense, but it made money, so we had to go with it.
It made money, my brother. Yes, it did. That's a crazy ass story, and that's what you get on when you come to the Ruckus. You get that real shit.
Mother. Can we talk about your gift for like having an eye or an ear for talent? Where does that come from, and what is it that you see? Where is it? You know, a lot of people are looking for the whole image or the package. Are you really about the skills? So what's in your formula and your gift for choosing talent? Like Dre and Ren and Yella and Michelet.
You know, like I tell people all the time, I've never been diagnosed, but I got a little ADHD. Okay, my mind is all over the place. And when I see something, I grab it, and whether it could be something right down the street, I'll just pick it up and put it in my truck, in my garage. I do people the same way. When I run across a talent like Michelet, contrary to what her movie said, in her movie, they had me buying some socks at the store that she worked at and inviting to the studio the same night. Well, that didn't happen like that. I met Michelet a year before I turned off the lights. So I had like a little Rolodex of people that I would call if I needed them. So when my main girl wasn't available, I just called Michelet. I knew she could sing. Nobody else knew she could sing but me. I knew Dre was making good beats. I built a studio. Like I said before, I got a little ADHD, but I had some money. So anything my mind wanted to do, I was able to do it. I wanted to build a studio, I built a studio. I wanted to make records, I made records. When I meet somebody that has remote talent and they cool, come on by the house. I've always been an open book like that. I still do the same thing right to this day. And that's how I run across so mane people. And I'm a natural cool dude. I'm not a gangster, man. I'm a real dude. So if I feel your vibe and we cool, come on by the house. Now if your vibe ain't cool, here goes my P.O. box, okay? Here goes my Google number, all right? But if we cool, we cool. So that's been my kind of my get down forever, man. And you know, it just most of the time, if you invite people that's serious around you, they'll show you how serious they are. Flakes gonna fall off like anything else.
Yeah, flakes gonna fall off like anything else. I love it. Dance culture was real big on the West Coast, and you know, we're sitting here with one of the most incredible dancers ever in dance cultures ever. Oh yeah, I don't get.
Hold on. Let me say this. I'm at the Universal Hip Hop Museum, right? I'm sitting down. I look, who in the hell is that? Okay, I had to do that. Okay, it says Lez. Oh shit. Living single Lez. Oh shit, I gotta go meet it.
Hilarious.
Well, you and DJ Clientele gave me so much love that day too. So it was really an honor to meet you. I was just like, how come we never had you on the show? So I'm glad to have this moment with the three of us.
Well, Lonzo, I never got to look at the fineness. I had to work with it. She put me in the little rubber box.
I've been blessed with a whole full view.
Me too, but she put me in the little rubber box. I was little brother the whole time, and that's that. But the dance culture in LA, you know, all that we really know about it is Soul Train. And you know, if you didn't grow up there on the West Coast and get to see it, all I knew was Soul Train. What was going on so that you had to make a world-class record crew? Was dance culture big?
Dance culture was huge in LA, man. I went to Catholic school, and we had dances every Friday at the Catholic school in the auditorium.
Gotcha.
My first regular DJ gig was across the street at the all-girls Catholic school. Every Friday night or every Saturday night, depending on what was happening, the Parks in Compton would give a dance. The radio stations would give dances for the kids. So that's all we did was dance. So you dancing on Friday night, go home and watch Soul Train. You try to emulate them same moves and bring them back to the park the next Saturday or Friday. Okay? Now I'm watching this. I'm 14, 15 years old watching Soul Train. I thought Don Cornelius was the coolest dude in the world. So when I got in my club, I became like the Don Cornelius. But because I grew up in the 60s, I always wanted to be a Temptation or a Dramatic, but I can't sing. Woo. And this rap thing came along. I'm like, now's my chance. I can do this, okay? And that's when I put together the group. I had Run DMC at the club. I had LL Cool J at Dudos. But when Run DMC came to Eve After Dark, they just come out. I couldn't deal with Russell. I'd already booked. I had Curtis first. I had Curtis Blow and Davey DMX first. Then Russell said, "Man, you want to book my brother and his partner? They got a couple of songs that's doing pretty good." He played me the songs on the radio. I'd never heard them before. They wasn't no big deal for us in LA, but he gave me such a good deal: $500, couple of free plane tickets and some room. Come on, let's do this. And when they played the club, man, Ron got this thing where he drops the mic. When Ron dropped my mic, I only had 2 mics. He broke one of them. So I'm like, I ain't doing this no more, okay? So that's why I decided to start doing my own thing, dude. Again, I was a young man with some money and some and an idea, and I could fund my ideas.
As Joe mentioned this about the dance culture, right? Let's talk about, because, you know, on the East Coast, we had Jams in the Park and that whole bit. But now as you're making records and everybody wants to kind of see you guys in concert and they're hearing everything, the buzz is on the street and in the clubs, when did you realize that the importance came in radio as well? That moved away from like selling stuff out of the trunk and radio was viable.
Well, Wrecking Crew was probably blessed more than anybody because as a club owner and promoter, I had a relationship with the radio stations already. So I would go in there and buy airtime for the club, and then my salesperson, who's still my salesperson today, say, "Hey, I got a new, we have a new program director you might want to meet. He's talking about this hip hop thing." So I was already leaving the Eve After Dark, moving to Dudos, the club you guys saw in Straight Outta Compton, and I met Greg Mack, and Greg Mack saw what I was doing at Dudos one night. He wanted to be involved, so he started giving us all the acts the radio stations was that the radio station wanted to promote. He started giving them to me, and it blew up. In fact, at one point in time, we had LL Cool J, Jermaine Stewart, and the biggest act we had was New Edition came to Dudos and just rocked it to no end. And it just made for a hell of a time because we had 2 types of promoters. We had street promoters. I was a street promoter / club owner, / group / label owner, and a group member. That it was like the perfect storm at that time. So we was running the streets. We was always on the radio doing our commercials. Then Greg heard some of the bootleg mixes that we were doing. We put them on the radio. So Wrecking Crew just blew up because we had the club every Friday. We had mixes every Monday through Friday. And we was doing shows all over the city with K-Day, the radio station. So it just gave us the appearance of being a lot bigger than what we were. And then shortly after that, our distributor Makola started he started distributing our records around the country without our permission, but our knowledge. Next thing I know, we started getting phone calls. Hey man, we need you to come to Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, wherever the case may be. So we hit the road. So it just became a smooth evolution, and it just the perfect storm. That's all I can tell you.
I love it. Lonzo, man, I wish we had more time, brother. But we've got to jump off.
Other computers tripping. I had to use my old computer, man. I'm sorry about this. Y'all look beautiful, man. Damn.
I want you to keep that computer. No, I want that computer every time I see you, man.
It's classic. It's classic. We want everybody still to go get your book, right? Because it's out. If you're an author, not without Alonzo, the roots of West Coast hip hop. We got to make sure that everybody knows it's out there, so that whatever they didn't hear here, they can read in the pages of your life story, and the reason why hip hop on the West Coast is the way it is, right?
Yes, and check out my YouTube channel, NWA Stories with Lonzo on YouTube. I do a show every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm looking for that beautiful lady Lez to join me on the show as soon as I can get a book. I can't wait to have you on the show, darling. Because you got the story that you need to tell on my story, on my show.
We're going to work it out. We got it. I got you.
We're going to work it out.
Man, it's Lonzo Williams, everybody. Tonight, make sure you go home and turn off the lights and bring that lady back.
Right.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Folks. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, now, peace.
That's Lonzo, everybody. Woo! You understand what we say here? That's the Ruckus for all you mother. That was, man, I wish we had more time. We got to have him back because I didn't even get to start talking about like his influences, the things that they were listening to in LA at the time. And for me, it's always super. Even like when I met you, Les, it's always really, I think it's really, really dope and a lot of value in having, putting context to who we are, where we came from, how this came to be that, and how that became to be where we're sitting today. So that was really, really fucking dope, man.
Yeah, definitely give him more time. Because he could have given us a bird's eye view on his thoughts on the biopic. He skimmed over it a little bit about the whole Michelle A story and all of that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to have him back.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to get him back. I know y'all got questions. He had a front row seat to everything that happened between Zeph Rose, Ray, or his opinions on it, East Coast, West Coast beef. We got to have him. Do your homework, people. That's what we're here for.
Les, in all these years, there's a big misconception, and I don't know if you catch it, but I catch it all the time, where people, ask me about why I left Rap City. And because, in the black community, when they love you for forever. There will never be another Don Cornelius. There'll never be another Donnie Simpson. There will never be another. And so people felt like we should have been there for forever.
Right.
Well, people, I'm here to tell you once and for all, I didn't leave Rap City. That was not my choice. I was shown the door. I was told that this is the first time Rap BET and leaving Rap City was the first time I heard we're going in another direction.
Wow. See, I heard this story. So Ruckus family, this is the first time I'm really hearing this story, and I don't even know if you know mine, but please proceed, my brother.
Yeah, there was a regime change. Some things that transpired. There was some different owners and a regime change, and our new boss was Stephen Hill, who went on to do great things with BET. And make that brand what it is today into a global brand. But he's at the helm now. He's new, and I was summoned into his office. And Les, I don't know if you remember, I could have sworn you were in there right before me.
Nope, I was in LA at that time.
Were you?
I was in LA and I was doing radio. But go ahead, finish.
Well, then who else got fired that day? Somebody, anyway. It was somebody in that mother got fired anyway. He calls me in, and it was really just pretty basic. The statement just was, we're going in another direction. And I guess because I had been in that BET bubble of black folks who were East Coast entertainment and media, I had never heard such an industry explanation. We're going in another direction means get your shit and you out the door. I had no idea. So I'm sitting there after he says we're going in another direction saying, oh, okay, cool. Well, how many days a week does that mean for me?
Right. The show format's changing, what we doing, how. Okay.
Yeah. So where do I go next? You know, what does that mean? Because I had just moved back from, I was living in New York. Remember, I was in Jersey and doing all the New York shit at the time. And I was like, so what does that mean? Because does that mean I gotta spend more time in DC and blah, blah, blah. And it dawned on me, like, after I left his office, like, no, that's the end of your tenure at Rap City. I was like, oh, Ed. Oh, I had no idea. Well, and luckily, I was still doing stand-up. I was touring, and I was in New York studying to be an actor and all this other shit. And I was doing middays. Not middays. I was doing weekends at Hot 97 at the time. So for everybody who don't know the story, there is the story. I got let go from Rap City. And just like I just got let go from my WPGC job.
I love that you can laugh about it because we all know that what's coming next, regardless of that chapter being closed, when you got all these gifts of talent and skill, can nobody stop you. Your shit, the next chapter is already ordained, and that's the part that I love.
I thought, Lez, so I got let go 2 Thursdays ago, right? 2 Thursdays ago, I got let go from the radio station, and I just knew that I was going to get to sleep. I was going to take at least 2 weeks of sleeping. In my fantasy mind, I said, good, I can chill the rest of the summer and pick up in the fall, get busy. Man, please. That lady had me up every mother. You hear me? I'm out that bed at 6. And between flipping houses, doing real estate, stand up, building out what we do here, media and everything else, and being a dad and a husband, ain't no sleep. Ain't no time off. Ain't no none of that shit. You can sleep when you old.
Let me ask you though, did you see it coming? Did you have any inkling that this was about to be the end of an era for you on WPGC?
Yes.
What happened? What was the telltale?
I just been doing this long enough. I just been doing this far too long, and knew that COVID didn't help us at all. In radio, in morning radio, COVID didn't help one iota. And I knew that a corporation the size of Odyssey couldn't keep our show with the price tag that came along with it, and the ratings are the way that they are, and things are going the way that they're going. I just knew that something was going to have to either change, or either they were going to have to infuse a bunch of shit into this show to make it what it's supposed to be, or what radio usually does. Okay, then we'll see you later. And so the wife, me and Naima had conversations about this, prior, and her real shit to me was like, well, what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do? Not what do you have to do for me and these kids? What do you have to do to pay? What do you want to do? And so for any man who's watching right now, make sure you get you a woman who got a mind and her own motherfucking money. So
that's right. Because she be like, baby, I got us, but we got to be happy in this house. So as you transition and your hours change and we got to change the schedule of these kids and stuff, I need my man happy. I need to be happy. So she asked the right question. Absolutely.
Lez, I have never, as long as we've been together, she's never, ever paid rent, paid a mortgage. She don't pay none of it. In the houses we flip, she don't take care of none. She don't do none of that shit. So the prospect of me having to now maybe let her do that was so unappealing that when it was time to get busy, I was like, fuck it, keep getting busy.
Absolutely. Well, I'm proud of you, Joey. And I know once we get on our network and stuff the way we're supposed to, all the other things that we do, because we are, thank God, multi-talented and have a million forms of income. Amen. Trying to get it all back to COVID, but it's all good. It's gonna be their loss, like I said.
How did your Rap City story go, though? You never told me that.
My hiring Rap City story, and my departure story were just crazy. Because my hiring story quickly was, I was a guest on Madeline Wood's show on Video LP as a dancer and choreographer, and they actually had me perform. I choreographed a number, had some dancers behind me, did 5, 6, 7, 8, and she had talked to me because by that time I had danced for Bobby Brown, Heavy D, Michael Jackson, Mary J. Blige, like everybody and their mother. So we talked about it. Our producers upstairs, Keith Paschal, Sanita Brooks, Eric had come downstairs and was like,
Alphonse
McCullough, yes, had come downstairs and was like, we never thought about having a girl until we heard from you. Because obviously being a club kid in New York City, I was with a lot of these people who are now artists before they had their deals. So while they were on the open mic stuff, I was in the circle battling, backflipping on cats. And then I started dancing for them in music videos and whatever. We spend a lot of time together in rehearsal, on tour, on the road with their families, no makeup, no, wigs, none of that stuff. So I've seen the raw, I know everything about them. So they trust me. They have a relationship with me. I have information that I don't need a cue card or a prompter and all that stuff for. So I auditioned with Kenny Burns. Shout out to Kenny Burns in the ATL. And they actually gave me the job, but Keith and Sanita had to go upstairs and deal with Bob and Lydia Cole and a couple other people, because one, female voices weren't heard very loud in hip hop then, and two, for the men in the room, I didn't look like the person they wanted to see on television, right? You know what that means. I didn't look like the female that men wanted to see on television. And I was told out twice. The men sitting in the corner offices. They want, your Halle Berrys and your Rachels and everything else. But I digress. Keith, Sanita, Alphonse, they all fought for me. And that's how I got the job. Thank you, Jesus. They ushered me in with Prince Dejour. It was like 1993. We went to, I think it was like Jacksonville, Florida, do a spring fling or something like that. I got to interview Outkast for the first time and all these other artists. And next thing you know, the labels got wind of it and was like really requesting to do interviews with me once they found out that I was on the show. So that was the blessing, because I had already the choreography existing relationship with all these artists. Cut to 1999. Yep, 1999. So I'm in LA and I'm doing radio. And I actually it was time for contract renegotiation. They sent me the same contract that I had for the last 5 years. The same contract. Not a penny more, not a upgrade in anything. And I'm still, and have been all these years that I have been on Rap City, been making more as a dancer and a choreographer and a radio personality than I was on a national television show. So as I tried to have my manager negotiate for more money, and now that I'm in LA producing a lot of these shows, because it was a match made in heaven. We were shooting the show as the guests were on my radio show, so it was a 2-for-1, plus the promotion that happened in LA and on radio and all that other stuff. And my manager just kept saying, nobody's responding. And finally they responded and said, well, we're not changing any points of the contract. She can either sign it as it is, and we'll move on, or that's it. And just like anybody in an abused relationship, at some point you have to say, how many times am I going to let this motherfucker punch me in my face before I walk out the door? And that was my exit stage left. I chose not to sign. And again, I still think I was choreographing with the occasional dancing. My radio job was paying double what Rap City was paying. So I just was kind of let me keep the hustle alive and keep it moving. And so many other doors opened. And at some point in your career, you have to demand respect and nobody's going to give it to you. And that's kind of how it happened for me. So I never got to work, even though it was right when Stephen Hill came in, and it was him who probably said it. We all know now that he came in with his set of people that he wanted to work with. And I just happened not to make that list. Even though they did give me an opportunity to say yes, I couldn't be true to myself. After 7 years of being there, how can I not get any more money? Like, really? Really? And I'm adding radio and all this other stuff and doing half the work. I'm producing all these shows for you. People come to my show. You don't have to even book anybody. I'm booking them. It's here. I don't get anything. And then I think the other slap in the face too was that, if you remember that late night show that John Sally was doing, I had asked, he was doing it from Los Angeles, and I had asked to be his co-host. And that's when it came up again that the powers that be, the men upstairs, said, no, she is not what men want to see on late night television, because I didn't look a certain way. And that's when I really knew my middle finger was up and I was done. So they moved somebody out here, spent more money to someone who didn't know anything about the industry unless you spoon-fed it to them, as opposed to me and you who live the culture, breathe the culture, create the culture every single day. And I'm just like, you know what? I can't take it. I can't.
Wow. It's I never heard that story. I did not know. So there you have it, America. That is the 1-2 of our relationship at Rap City. Now I will say that after I got let go from Rap City, you remember I hosted another show and another show and another show and another. I kept getting checks from BET for like. I stopped. I think the last check I got from I just got a check from BET during the pandemic. So I worked for them off and on, here and there. Remember, I did Mad Sports. Then I did Black College Football. And then I did Take the Cake with Takara.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Remember we had a quick...
I remember. Wow. But you know what's crazy? Like, see, you're part of the boys club, right? Because I've maybe done the show I did with Rodney Jerkins, one of the girls who won on... what's the fashion show with all the designers and stuff, and we did a show like that where I was one of the judges, and occasionally a little bit hosting, but they have never, even while we were in the prime of Rap City, let me present an award for any award show, Walk of Fame, BET Awards, Hip Hop Awards, or host the red carpet ever, knowing that you and I know all of these people without a problem. And they want to share stories with us. They trust us with even the most scandalous stuff, because we know that they know that we're not going to disrespect their story, that we're going to tell it with grace, make sure it's your truth and all of that stuff. But they've never, ever let me present. But you and Tigger?
No, I've never been to I went to the first BET Award in Vegas. And I was told to wait in my room, and I would get a call about when to come down to, do X, Y, and Z. And I never got a call.
So they flew you out.
Flew me out.
Booked you a room.
In a hotel. I don't remember what hotel we were in. I watched the BET Awards from my hotel room. And the awards are going on downstairs. And I'm not gonna say who, because we're still great friends. And she was like, "Why didn't you come downstairs? You should have just came down." I said, "It's an award show, and I'm just going by protocol of what we're supposed to do." And even since after that, I've never been invited to. I don't get invited to no BET Awards. I've never been invited. I don't get. And I was doing the Wrap It Up campaign. Remember, because of my brothers, I was explaining my brother to you a minute ago. And his HIV status, I became the moderator for the Wrap It Up campaign for a decade, right? And I'm going around the country speaking to youth groups and, talking about wrap it up and keeping yourself straight and confidence and becoming a mature adult and all these other things, waving the BET flag. But I've never been invited to none, not the honors, the awards. I did get invited to, at one time they had a BET Comedy Award. And they did invite me to that, and that was cool, but it was awkward at the same time, because every comedian who came is comedians I either, that I work with. Some of them even were opening acts for me.
Right.
And they coming and getting all these accolades, and I'm sitting there saying, man, but that's how it goes. That's the game. But now we do the motherfucking ruckus.
Absolutely.
For all you motherfuckers. You understand? So listen, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I need to go talk to this lady who lives upstairs with me, who has a ring that looks like this, and see if there's some dinner. Because
don't say dinner to me, Joey. You know I am on.
Oh, my bad.
Of my cleanse, of the master cleanse. Your girl got to get into shape. Damn it.
Lez, I've never done a cleanse, and maybe you'll be the one who get me into doing a cleanse.
Inspired? I got you. You know me, spirit, mind, and body all day, every day. You know how we do.
Okay, I'm just namaste. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Ruckus. Thank y'all so very, very much. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow me at Joe Clair. Follow her
at I am Leslie Seagar. And you know how we do. On all platforms. Rock with us on The Ruckus.
Rock with us. Salutes y'all. We'll see y'all next time. This is The Ruckus. We love y'all.